So we're going to do a little bit of revision here for your summer exams, okay? So Bronwyn, will you make sure to send me your revision list, Pet? So what we're going to look at, I've picked a couple of wee topics that we're going to look at today. So we're going to look at our mean, mode, median and range. And if we get on to it, we're going to do a little bit of algebra as well. And the algebra I want to look at is ones that have a lot of like wordy questions in it. So your literacy based questions. Now, before we can look at our mean, mode, median and range, we have to make sure that we understand what the terms mean, okay? So I've given out a little list of definitions here and I'll give you a wee minute to take them down. Now, what your mean is, let's go through them before you take them down. It's when we add all the values together and then we divide by the total of how many values that there actually are. So say I had 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, okay? That's 5 different numbers. So what I do is I just add those numbers together and then divide by 5 because there's 5 different numbers there. Your mode is the one that appears most often. So how I remember that is look, MO and then most, MO, O for often as well. So your mode is the one that's most common, okay? So it's there the most often. Your median is the middle value in a list, but it has to be sorted in order. So you always must go from the smallest to the biggest. And then you just literally tick off the top, tick off the bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, until you get to the middle number. And if we have 2 in the middle, then we get our average, which is just like our mean again. So you just add the 2 together and divide by 2. Your range is the difference between the highest number and the lowest number in your list, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to take that there down. Holly, let's look at this first question. So, a group of students recorded the number of books they read in a month. So we have 3, 5, 2, 5 and 6. What is the average number of books they read? Now, they're more likely to use the word mean than the average. Right, so tell me what to do.
Add them up all together.
Right, so I have 3, 5, 2, 5 and 6. Okay, and then what would I have to do?
Add them up all together.
Right, and then what would we do? So how many numbers have I got?
5.
5. So I have 5 terms or 5 numbers, so then I have to divide by 5. So do that for me. So when you added them all up, Holly, what did you get?
21.
So 21,
Over
okay.
5.
Over 5. And what will that give me?
4.2.
4.2. Perfect. Right. Next one. So look at this one, Holly. You're going to tell me what to do here. So the shoe sizes of pupils in a class are 6, 7, 7, 8, 6, 7 and 9. What shoe size is... Now, I'm going to see the way it says most often. I'm going to stop using that. What is the mode of those? So what does mode mean? Remember, MO?
The ones that's seen the most.
Absolutely. So look, MO, most often. So that's what it stands for. So which one is it, Pet?
7.
7. Absolutely brilliant. The following are the ages of participants in a club. 14, 13, 12, 16 and 15. What is my median age? What does median mean?
The one in the middle, so 12.
So no, you can't do it. It's just the one in the middle like that there. Because remember, when we talk about the median, it is the middle number. But remember, it has to be in order. So you have to go from the smallest to the biggest. So let's rewrite it. So who comes first?
12.
Right. Then, so you always kind of mark it off. So you can rewrite 12.
13.
Yep.
14.
Yep.
15.
Yep.
16.
Good woman. Now, what will I do?
The median would now be 14.
Absolutely. So you go top, bottom, top, bottom. Okay, so you always have to go from top to bottom. Good stuff. Excellent. Now, Holly, say I had... Now, I'm going to change this up for a wee second, okay? You're totally correct in what you had there, Pet. So you had 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right, I'm going to add in 17, right? Now, let's do our median, top to bottom, top to bottom. Right, so who will I cross?
13. No, 12.
Yep.
17.
Yep.
13.
Yep.
And 16.
Good. Now look what I have. I have 2 numbers in the middle. So I can't cross both them off. So what am I going to do?
Add them up and divide them by 5.
Not 5.
6.
No, not 6. So there's only 2 numbers we're talking about there. So we add those 2 and we divide by 2 because you're getting the number in between them, you see.
Okay.
Because you're only talking about those 2 numbers. So I will have 14 plus 15. What's that going to give me?
29.
Yep. 29 divided by 2.
14.5.
14.5. Good woman. Excellent. Right, next one. A footballer scored these numbers of goals in 5 matches. 1, 0, 2, 4, 3. What is the range of the goals scored? Right, what does the range always mean again, Holly? So think about if you walk into, what's your favourite makeup brand? Charlotte Tilbury.
Yeah.
Right, and they've loads of different foundations. We would call that a range of foundations. There's lots of different types, okay? So your range is like them all. So when you talk about the range, it's like the biggest minus the smallest. Okay, so what's my biggest number here?
4.
And what's my smallest?
0.
So what's our range?
4.
There you go, perfect, excellent. Right, do these next to yourself. I'm going to give you a minute. Okay, Holly, so the time in seconds it took students to complete a task was 50, 55, 60, 45. Find my mean time, right? Tell me what to do.
Do 50 plus 55 plus 60 plus 45.
Mm-hmm. And what do I have to do with those once I've added them?
You get 210 over 4 because there's 4 numbers.
Good, so I'll add all them and divide by 10. And when I do that, what will I get?
52.5.
Perfect, excellent. The number of pets owned by classmates 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1. Which number of pets is the most common?
1.
1. So give me another way to say most common. What do I call it?
Mode.
Mode, good woman. Excellent. Right, next one. Right, try these next 3. Actually, do the next 4 for me. I'll give you a minute. Okay, so tell me what to do, Hollis.
So the median is the one in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to put it in the order.
Yep, so what's my order going to be?
10, 15, 20,
Yep,
25,
yep.
and 30.
Good woman. And then what'll I do?
Then cross 10, 30, 15, 25, and then you'll get 20.
Excellent. A class records the temperature degree Celsius over a week. 12, 15, 10, 9, 14, 13, 11. What is the range? What does the range stand for again? Can you remember? So your range is always your biggest minus your smallest. Okay, so it's your biggest number minus your smallest number. I don't know why that did that. So the biggest minus the smallest, right? So what is my highest temperature and what is my lowest temperature?
15
Sorry, that's just gone all funny me. So 15
and 9.
minus 9 to give me
4.
no
6.
6. Okay, so that is my range in temperature. Laura's scores in 5 quizzes were 72, 65, 70, 68 and 75. What was her average score? Give me another name for average score. What could we call that?
The one that's saying the most.
No, most common is your mode. So the average is the mean. Okay, so you have to get used to these words, Holly, because they're not going to write average score. They're going to ask you for the mean. So you have to remember which one it is. So what will we do?
Add them all up.
Mm-hmm.
So 72 plus 65.
And then what will I do?
Add them up to get 350, and there's 5 numbers, so 350 over 5.
Mm-hmm. What's that going to give me?
70.
Good. A survey asked how many siblings each student had. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1. What is the most common number of siblings? So what's my mode?
2.
2. So the one that occurs most common.
Bad.
So the lengths of 6 pencils in centimetres is 17, 20, 15, 18, 19 and 16. What's the medium length? Right, tell me what to do.
Cross out 7.
No.
Put them in the smallest to the biggest.
Smallest to the biggest.
15, 7, 16,
Mhm.
17, 18, 19, 20.
Good. Okay.
then cross out 15, 20, 16 and 19, and then add them two together to
Okay.
get 35,
Okay.
and then 35 divided by 2,
Yeah, because there's two terms. Good woman. What will I get?
17.5.
Excellent. A set of scores in a spelling test 23, 27, 19, 21, and 30. Find me the range of these scores. So, what will I do here? What does range mean?
The biggest takeaway, smallest.
Biggest takeaway, smallest. Good.
So 30 takeaway, 19.
Good woman. And what's that going to give me?
11.
Good. Excellent. Right, let's do a wee bit of algebra revision, okay? So I've purposely gone for like wordy questions because they always give you kind of wordy questions as well. So, Amelia has 3 pencils and buys 4 more. Write a simplified expression for the total number of pencils she has.
Three over 4.
No, not 3 over 4. That wouldn't make sense. Go back again. So what would I write for this? So she has 3 pencils and buys 4 more. So tell me what to write. So she has, how many pencils has she got?
3
Right, and she buys 4 more. So I just go,
plus 4.
yeah, and what does that give me?
7.
Yeah, try not to overcomplicate it. It doesn't have an X in it because we don't need an X. Look at the next one though. A shop sells notebooks. Each costs 2 more than the price X of a pen. Write an expression for the cost of one notebook and then simplify. Okay? Right, so let's look at that. What would I do? Don't mind this here. So a shop sells notebooks. Each costs 2 more than the price X of a pen. So if X is a pen, right, you go X and it costs 2 more. So it has to be X plus 2. Okay? And then it says that's, so each costs 2 more than the price X of a pen. I really like that question. So each costs 2 more than the price.
Does not make sense.
So X plus 2. Oh yeah. Okay, so that there, each costs 3 more. Each costs 2 more than the price X of a pen. Write an expression for the cost of one notebook. Yeah, so that's the cost of your notebook.
The £2.
So it's X plus 2. That's the, yeah, that's not a nice question, to be honest. It's the way it's worded, it's not very clear. Right, so I didn't like those algebra questions. We're going to have a quick wee look at polygons. Now, a polygon, what it is it's just a shape, right? This is a shape with closed sides. So, for example, what's that?
A triangle.
A triangle, that's a type of polygon, okay? What's that?
A square.
Square, that's a type of polygon, okay? That's another type of polygon, okay? But it's just a closed shape. Now, if I had, say, this one, okay? How many sides has that one?
6.
6. So that there is called
A hexagon.
a hexagon, absolutely, okay? So the number of sides that they have decides the name, okay? So triangle, okay, if it is 4, it's just a square or rectangle, doesn't really matter what we're going to call it, okay? Now, what you have is you can have a regular polygon or an irregular. So a regular will be like these ones here, okay? An irregular one would be one that has like a funny shape. It might be like that, okay? It's still a closed shape, it's still classed as a polygon, all right? Now, we've got certain rules that we have to know for polygons. So we're going to start off by looking at our regular polygons, okay? Now, we have to think about it in terms of the angles inside the shape and the angles outside the shape, okay? So if I think of my triangle again, right, you know that's a triangle, but if I carry on my angles here, okay? So we're carrying on our lines here. Now, if I said to you, Holly, how many degrees is inside a triangle?
180.
180, absolutely. So there's 180 in a triangle. Now, if I carried on this line up here, okay? So there's a straight line. How many degrees is on a straight line?
180.
180 as well. So that's another rule that you know. So on a straight line, I have 180. Now, do you see these here pink ones that we have?
Yeah.
So this one, this one, this one. They're all known as interior angles because they're on the inside. It's like an interior designer, okay? So that's someone who like does up your house on the inside, okay? Now, these ones out here, see these ones here, the yellow ones? There are exterior angles. So someone that paints your house on the exterior or painting the outside of your house, okay? Now, our rules that we have to know, we have to be able to calculate the angles on the inside of our polygon and on the outside, okay? Now, there's two rules that you have to know. So the first one is the sum of the interior angle, okay? That will always, we have an equation for this here, okay? So sum means when you add up. So when we add up the interior angles in a polygon, we will always go n minus 2 times by 180, where n is the number of sides that you have. So for example, Holly, look at my triangle there, right? So say we were talking about a triangle. How many sides does this triangle have?
3.
3. So if I go 3 minus 2, what would that give me?
3.
So if I had 3 minus 2, what would that give me?
1.
1. 1 times 180?
180.
So that tells me my triangle should have 180 on the inside, right? If I think of my, what about this one, Holly, right? So if I did my hexagon here, okay? Now we use our equation, n minus 2, which is in brackets, times by 180. So n is my number of sides. So how many sides does this here shape have?
6.
So I'll go 6 minus 2 times by 180. Okay, 6 minus 2 is?
4.
4. 4 times 180. You can use your calculator.
$720.
Excellent. And do you know how we know that we're right as well? Let's look at this for a second, right? Say I'm standing up here, right? And I'm going to make all the triangles I can out of this shape. Look, if I go here, there's one triangle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that triangle should have how many degrees? How many degrees is inside a triangle?
180.
180. So that should be 180, right? Say if I go from here to here, there's another triangle. How many degrees should that have?
180.
180. What if I go for here? How many more triangles have I?
2.
I have one here and I have one here. And I know this one has to be 180 and that one has to be 180. If I added all them up, I'd still get 720. So that's a wee cheat way as well. Does that make sense, Pat?
Yep.
Yeah? Right, what I'll get you to do first, I'm going to get you to take down that first. Now, the other rule that we're going to use then is our sum of our exterior angles, okay? So the sum of the exterior angles, okay, so remember they're the ones on the outside. What they'll always be is they will always be the number that you have in the inside, which is 720, divided by your n, which is the number of sides that you have. Okay, so if I had 720 and we've said our n is 4, if I go 720 divided by 4, what would that give me, Holly?
180.
180. Every single time we have our exterior angles, they will always, no matter how many sides I have, add up to give me 180. Okay, right, let's do a question. Now, these look scary, okay? Don't worry about it for now, all right? We're just going to take one at a time. Let's look at number 1 here. Now, we will go round little by little until we get what we know, okay? Now, first things first, how many sides has number 1?
5 and then a right angle.
Yeah, but let's look in the inside. So I have so many sides. There's 1, 2, 3. Now, actually, do you know something? It's a wee bit unfair. They're not regular ones, they're irregular ones. So you can't really do that just yet. Hold on, I'm going to put in a different one. Right. So the only thing we're going to do today, and then that'll do us for today, because I know you've done a fair wee bit, is you're going to find me the sum of the interior angles. So let's do the first one. What would it be, Holly? So think of your rule. So n minus 2 brackets times by 180. Right, so what's that one going to be? How many sides does it have?
Oh, this one.
Yep.
5.
Right, so 5 minus 2
3.
times 180. Yep, 3 times 180 gives me?
360.
No.
540.
Good. Right, B.
Um,
So give me what I write. Give me my equation.
6 take away 2.
Yep.
And then 4 times 180 is 720.
Yep, good. Sorry, that's gone all over the place there. Hold on 1 second, Holly. I think if it's when I zoom too much in, it goes crazy. Okay, by 180 gives me, what was it, sorry?
720.
Good woman. Next one, C.
Yeah. Take away 2. Give it 6, and then 6 times 180 is 1080.
Good woman. D.
9 take away 2 is 7, and 7 times 180 is 1260.
Good woman. E.
10 take away 2 is 8, and then
Yeah.
8 times 180 is 1440.
Excellent. And your last one.
11 take away 2 is 9, then 9 times 180 is 1620.
Absolutely perfect. Right, good woman. That'll do you for today. Bronwyn, when you have finished listening to that, Pat, will you text me to let me know that you have listened to it? And also, will you send me your revision list, please?